Hey everybody, welcome to April's sampler block. Today is going to be all about half square triangles, so we're going to make those. And one thing I think I forgot to mention last month is if you're really not liking a fabric that's included in your kit, you can substitute that yourself and put in a different fabric. It's your quilt and you should make it the way you want it. And like I said, if you don't like something, substitute something else that makes you happy, and it's okay. All right, so I'm going to make half square triangles, and so I have my main fabric and my background fabric, and I like to mark a diagonal line on the back side of the fabric, and I normally put it on the back side of the background, but the background is so dark, I'm going to put my diagonal line on the back side of the lighter fabric. So what I do is I take a ruler and I draw a line, a diagonal line from corner to corner. And I like to use the friction pens. The friction pens will disappear with heat. So it's nice that you have a marked line, but it's going to go away. So let me mark this. So hopefully you can see that I have a diagonal line from here to here, and I'm going to put right sides together with the background fabric, and I line it up as close as I can possibly get it, and then I'm going to pin it. So I'm pinning the two fabrics together. So they're pinned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch on either side or both sides of that marked line. All right, so let me go ahead and do that. All right, there's one side. Okay, so I know it's hard to see, but I've sewn, you can kind of see it better here, but I've sewn 2 lines of sewing on both sides of that marked line. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut it right on that marked line. So I have my 2 halves, and I'm going to press it. And I'm going to press it towards the darker fabric. I'm going to carefully press it so I don't stretch it out and distort it, because it is, this seam is all on a bias. So I just want to be careful. So I did the same thing on this one. I'm going to cut off these little points on the end because they just get in the way. You will probably want to use scissors. Okay. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing with another colorway. Another color. This is going to be the C fabric. Again, I'm going to mark a diagonal line on the back side of the fabric. Put it right sides together with the background. It should line up really well. what I do with my pins. Okay, again, sewing on both sides of that mark line. Okay, so I'm going to take out the pins, cut on that marked line. Over here, press. Again, pressing towards the darker fabric. I'm going to trim away the excess little bits at the corners. All right, so those are the half square triangles, and now I can set it up for the block. I already made some of these. So it's like a friendship star in the center. So I'm going to sew this together in rows. I'm going to pick up these two and sew them together. Okay, let me get this sewn. Scissors. I'm just going to place these back where they were to make sure I put them in the right spots. So I'm going to add on that third piece. I'm actually going to line it all up so I can just sew. Okay. Getting my seam ripper so I can cut these apart. All right, so these are my rows, and I'm going to iron the middle row first, and I'm going to iron it towards the center because it's a plain square. So first I'm going to iron it flat, the seam flat, to kind of set the seam. And now I'm going to iron it towards the center. All right, so since I ironed the middle row towards the center, I'm going to iron these towards the outside. I always like to set the seam first, and then where that half square triangle point is, I just kind of push on it a little bit to encourage it to iron towards the side. This is the bottom row, and I'm going to press, again, I'm going to press this out to the sides. I'm just giving a little bit of help where the half square triangle point is. If you give a little bit of help, it won't distort so much. All right, so I'm going to sew these together, and I'm going to match up the seams. So by pressing them in opposite directions, my seams are opposite, so I'm going to reduce bulk, and I can line it up right where those seams meet. I'm going to find right where it meets, and I'm going to put in a pin. And again, on the other side, make sure the seams are touching each other right where they meet. And I put in 2 pins at the seams, and now I'm going to sew it. You can put pins in these ends too. Right, and I'm going to press this, and I'm going to press it towards this one where that plain square is, just because there's just a tiny bit less bulk. That's what I have so far. Again, I'm going to pin it where these seams meet. They're pressed in opposite directions, so they nest really well. First I'm going to press it flat. And then I'm going to press it back towards the center. Okay, so there's the block for April. Thanks for watching.